Former Arsenal midfielder Thomas Partey is in more deep soup. Yes, the 32-year-old Ghanaian international yesterday pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of rape in the UK. Welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert K. Sakos is my name. So, in this episode, we'll be discussing the curious case of Thomas Partey, the ex-Arsenal midfielder, who is facing rape charges in the UK, despite having left Arsenal or the UK back in the summer of 2025 to join Villarreal on a one-year contract with an option to extend it for a further year. So yeah, Thomas Partey yesterday, Monday, the 13th of April 2026, entered a plea of not guilty on 2 accounts of rape at the Southwark Crown Court in the UK. The 2 counts of rape will be tried along with the initial 5 counts of rape, as well as 1 count of sexual assault. He pleaded not guilty to the initial charges, that was the 5 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual assault that involve 3 different women. The trial was originally set to start in November 2026, but according to multiple reports, it may be delayed until 2027. The extra 2 charges came in February relating to a different complainant, so that means we are now having 4 different individuals involved in this case in terms of the accusers accusing Thomas Partey. Then Partey was first charged in July 2025. That was 4 days after his contract expired with the Gunners. Something that I do remember caused a bit of a stir in the media world, because a lot of people got questioning why are the charges coming now that his contract has officially ended with Arsenal. It's not to say that these charges would never come if he was still under contract with Arsenal, because that, I think, for me, related to the investigations and things like that. Yes, you could feel that there was a bit of a coincidence, but it cannot be the justification or the foregone conclusion that the charges were brought before him because his contract with Arsenal had ended. It's as if to suggest that Arsenal were blocking the charges, whereas they could have a bit of influence with the lawmakers. I do not think when it comes to such serious cases as those brought before the Ghanaian captain, Arsenal will be standing in the way of the law. So he first appeared before the Westminster Magistrates Court in August 2025, and he was granted conditional bail, in which he's not allowed to make any form of contact whatsoever with the alleged victims. He must inform the authorities of any changes in addresses, and also he must inform the authorities of any travel whatsoever. So, in other words, I think this relates to overseas travels. For example, at the time he was living in the UK, he's moved to Spain where he's playing for Villarreal. Sometimes he flies back to his home country, Ghana. So maybe if he needs to also move elsewhere around the globe, as he is a global star, football star, then he needs to inform the authorities. So I remember when these charges came to light, a lot was said because the charges are before or against Thomas Partey relate to 4 different women. 2 investigations are said to have started between February 2021 until February 2022, or somewhere beyond that period. And remember, he had just joined Arsenal in October 2020 for about 50 million euros coming in from Atletico de Madrid. Now, of course, it's very, very unfortunate, both for Thomas Partey and the alleged victims here. The reason as to why I say that, I'm not one to quickly condemn Thomas Partey this in a way that some people have come out to do so or have done so since these charges were brought to light. A lot of times, these allegations can be made against anybody. When it comes to society issues, especially relating to women and men in incidences like this, any allegation can be made against you, whether justified or unjustified, when it comes to things like sexual assault. And the unfortunate bit for me is that people who falsely accuse others deny, in a way, justice to those with genuine concerns. I'll give you an example. It's a similar case with, let's say, domestic violence, women often use it as a card to fight marital or relationship battles, to say, oh, this man has been abusing me, this man has been beating me, emotionally abusing me, financially abusing me, because domestic abuse can be in different categories. Now, on good many times, those ladies are lying or are telling lies. They fabricate lies to sort of paint a particular individual, usually a man, in a bad image in society. And then once these cases are not proven, and obviously, usually it becomes very, very hard for a man to, defend themselves against such charges when a woman goes public, whether false or not. So usually those that make false claims make society, and at the end of it all, underscore the plight of genuine victims. I'll give you an example. And say this. If, let's say, you have 6 out of 10 women accusing men of domestic violence, fabricating charges, okay, maybe 6 is a big number, but even if it's just 4, what is that supposed to mean for the other 6? Gradually, society sort of draws itself to the conclusion that women are constantly fabricating this. And it's not just one-sided. Sometimes it's the other way around, that women are abusing men. And only that in our societies, men hardly come out. So sometimes it is true that they're genuine victims of sexual assault, of attempted rape, and things like that. And these things, unfortunately, happen in society every single day. From what I've heard globally, India is one of those places where rape is a high crime in terms of high rates. But first of all, they're very, very hard to prove cases. They are very hard cases to try. They take a lot of time. And the unfortunate bit, like I say, sometimes you have disingenuous people come up with claims to assoil the reputations of athletes, because it's been very common in that regard. We know for a fact that Cristiano Ronaldo has had such allegations leveled against his name, pertaining to his time in Las Vegas, I think around 2009. Then we know for a fact that Benjamin Mendy had his career literally thrown to the doldrums because of false allegations leveled against him. Those cases could not be proven, and in the end, he was literally cost 2 years of his career during the time of those trials and beyond. He's never been the same player because he lost a lot. His name, his reputation is not something that you can sort of easily restore. So, like I keep saying, it's hard to slice to say this is the wrong, this is the good, because we cannot necessarily dismiss the allegations to say they are not true. But what I'm trying to say is that oftentimes you have people or ladies fabricating some of these allegations to try and extort these athletes because they know they have money. So if you bring such charges against them, some are hoping that maybe these guys, in wanting to protect their reputation, their brands, their names, they're going to reach on some form of outside of court agreement, settlement, and pay you some cash, and you walk away with it. Sometimes these things go to trial. You hope, if you're a genuine victim, that the person you're accusing will be proven guilty and face the law. But you have those elements where you have genuine people or genuine victims of these rape allegations, sexual assault allegations, and then you also have those that are disingenuous, that are simply looking to gain, usually monetarily. So for Thomas Partey, I want to say he is innocent until proven guilty. I'm not going to be one of those that are quick to condemn him, to say because I remember at the time when that news came out, people like Mark Goldbridge and so many others were asking how dare Arsenal continue to play a player knowing that he's being investigated for these matters, knowing that he's potentially going to face these charges. And I maintain the same stance. I maintain the same stance. You're innocent until proven guilty. And I did say that should Thomas Partey be found guilty, let him face the wrath of the law. But if he does say he is innocent, as he does maintain in his pleas, let the case be had and brought to its logical conclusion. If he's exonerated, so be it. But I'm not going to jump to the bandwagon and say, oh, you know, you're as guilty as charged. You know, look at the case of Mason Greenwood. His career took a different turn because he had, you know, domestic violence allegations and rape allegations brought before his name. Eventually, the matter was settled. He was never. He never went through the trials and to find whether he's guilty or not, but the matter was settled and it's all good. So, but the women's fraternity within the ranks of Manchester United fans went to protest to say he can no longer play for our club. What are you trying to communicate if you're going to play a man that has been painted in this form in society? Look at what Tottenham Hotspur fans had to say about Roberto Di Zerbi simply because he was not one to condemn Mason Greenwood for the allegations that he had faced and things like that. So for Thomas Partey, it's going to be a bit of a long wait now that the case won't be tried until 2027. I would want to assume that all investigations have been concluded, but maybe the schedules of court or otherwise, maybe these newer charges have what have extended the, you know, the matter. But according to Thomas Partey, he maintains his innocence as his lawyers who will say that their client is innocent and is willing to clear his name. We have read multiple reports suggesting that he was very, very cooperative with the authorities during the course of their investigation. But also, you ought to remember that in those investigations, the investigative authorities at least found enough evidence, whether circumstantial or otherwise, that they believe they can take before court to try and prove their case. So we can only hope that the matter is brought to its logical conclusion as soon as possible, because we also know for a fact that justice delayed is justice denied. Your thoughts on Thomas Partey and society in general when it comes to these such issues, when it comes to allegations, especially against athletes? We know that the late Kobe Bryant was a victim of this, and we've had it with multiple others over there, especially in the US when it comes to the celebrity world. But I have heard for a fact that in the UK, such allegations are usually very, very hard to prove. But let's wait and see how things will go down. We'll keep tabs on that story. It's not an everyday story, but as of when we have a concrete update that is worth sharing with you, we'll come and share it. Otherwise, allow me to wish you a wonderful rest of the day. Stay blessed. To all our new subscribers, we say welcome to the Football Tribe UG channel. Keep watching, keep liking, keep commenting and sharing so that our content can be further recommended to other audiences. Stay blessed. Until next time. Bye-bye.